What if I told you there are cities on Earth right now? Not in the distant future, not in science fiction, but today, that are slowly disappearing, not because of war, not because of invasion, but because the planet itself is changing. Water is rising, land is sinking, deserts are spreading, ice is melting, and entire cities are running out of time. By the end of this video, you'll realize something terrifying. Some of the world's most beautiful cities may not exist in your lifetime. Let's begin. In Southeast Asia lies one of the world's largest capitals, Jakarta. Population, over 10 million. But here's the shocking truth. Jakarta is sinking, and it's sinking fast. In some areas, the city is dropping by 10 inches per year. Why? Because residents have pumped so much groundwater out of the earth that the ground itself is collapsing. Add rising sea levels, add climate change, add extreme flooding, and now nearly 40% of Jakarta lies below sea level. The government made a historic decision. They are building an entirely new capital city. Yes, a country is abandoning its own capital. Imagine that, a megacity, relocating because the ocean is winning. Jakarta isn't just sinking, it's sending a warning to the world. Now let's travel to Europe. The romantic canals, the gondolas, the ancient architecture. Welcome to Venice. For centuries, Venice has stood proudly above the water, but today, the water is rising. The city experiences acqua alta, extreme flooding events that are becoming more frequent and more severe. Sea levels are climbing. The land beneath Venice is slowly subsiding. St. Mark's Square now floods regularly. Mass tourism adds stress. Saltwater erodes foundations. The Italian government built a massive barrier system called MOS to hold back the sea, but experts warn, it may only buy time. Venice isn't just a city, it's a masterpiece of human history, and it may not survive the century. Far north in the United States lies a small indigenous community, Shishmaref, built on a narrow island off Alaska's coast. For generations, people lived in balance with the Arctic environment. But now, the ice that once protected the shoreline melts earlier each year. Storm waves crash directly into the land. Homes are collapsing into the ocean. The village voted to relocate, but moving an entire community costs hundreds of millions of dollars. Shishmaref is not alone. Dozens of Arctic villages face the same fate. For them, climate change isn't political, it's personal. Now let's talk about one of the largest cities on Earth, Mexico City, built on the ruins of an ancient Aztec capital. The problem? It was built on a lake, Lake Texcoco. Over centuries, the lake was drained, but the soft lake bed remains. As the city pumps groundwater for millions of residents, the land sinks. Some parts have dropped over 30 feet in the last century. Buildings tilt, cracks form, infrastructure strains. Mexico City is slowly collapsing into itself, and there's no simple fix. Now imagine an entire country disappearing. In the Indian Ocean lies Maldives, a tropical paradise. White sand beaches, crystal blue water. But the Maldives is the lowest lying country on Earth. Average elevation, about 5 feet above sea level. If global sea levels rise just a few more feet, much of the nation could be underwater. The government has already explored buying land in other countries, just in case relocation becomes necessary. Think about that. A country planning its escape. This isn't theory, it's preparation. In the United States, one city knows this battle well. New Orleans. Much of it lies below sea level. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina devastated the city. Levees failed. Floodwaters overwhelmed neighborhoods. The city rebuilt. Stronger, smarter. But scientists warn, sea levels are rising, hurricanes are intensifying, and Louisiana's coast is eroding rapidly. New Orleans is fighting, but nature is relentless. The reasons vary: rising sea levels, melting polar ice, groundwater extraction, poor urban planning, desertification, coastal erosion. But they all connect to one thing: human impact. The planet is reacting, and cities are on the front lines. Imagine knowing your city may not exist in 50 years. Would you buy a house? Start a business? Raise children there? Disappearing cities create uncertainty, economic instability, emotional stress, identity loss. Because cities are more than buildings. They are memories, culture, history, home. By 2050, hundreds of millions of people could be displaced by rising sea levels. Climate migration may become the defining issue of the century. Governments must adapt. Engineers must innovate. Communities must prepare. But here's the question: will we act fast enough? Cities rise. Cities fall. History proves that. But this time, the threat isn't invasion. It isn't war. It's slow, silent, unstoppable, unless we change. The cities disappearing today are warnings. Warnings written in water. Warnings carved in sinking ground. The question isn't whether cities will disappear. The question is, which ones, and when? If your city started sinking tomorrow, what would you do? Would you stay, or would you leave? Comment below. I read every single one. If this documentary opened your eyes, hit like, subscribe, because the world is changing faster than we think, and you deserve to understand it.